What's up YouTube, and welcome back to another Awesomoto vlog. If you're like me and you've been noticing some oil spots underneath the front engine area of your GX470, maybe on your driveway or your parking spot at work, if this is the case, you may have a valve cover gasket that is leaking and needs to be replaced. A way you can tell is you can look down over the side of your engine and locate your valve cover, and right under the valve cover you should see where it's leaking out. Some other symptoms of this, because it's right over top of your catalytic converters, some of this oil can drip down onto your cat. And for me, mine's actually leaking so bad that it's causing a little bit of smoke from the cats getting hot and then having that hot oil on there. It could catch on fire. It's probably not very likely, but you just want to identify this as early as you can and replace that valve cover gasket as soon as you see that it's leaking. For me, it's been quite some time. I've been rocking it now for a solid few months, and I've known it's been an issue, but it's gotten increasingly worse over the past few weeks. So I ordered a valve cover gasket from AutoZone, and they sent me this kit from Fel Pro. I'll put the links to this part in the description of the video. The other thing you're gonna need is, I got this from Permatex. This is a high temperature RTV, so you're gonna wanna get yourself some of that RTV, and this is what we're going to use to seal up and re-epoxy or re-RTV those camshaft seals. Before I get into today's video, I want to go ahead and thank everybody again who was a part in that first batch of the Awesomoto GX470 Molle panels. You guys sold out that inventory so fast, so I'm working on another batch of Molle panels. This second batch of Molle panels should be ready in about a week or two, so keep an eye out on the Instagram. If you're already an Awesomoto subscriber on YouTube, you'll get a notification when those panels are available and in stock for purchase. If you're interested in one of these panels and you want to get in on this next batch, hit that subscribe button down below so you get notified when those panels are back in stock. And in addition, you'll get subscribed to the Awesomoto YouTube channel where you'll see more GX470 videos like this. Alright, so I'm just going to get started on the video install so that we can get right to it. First thing we're going to want to do is we're going to remove this engine cover and anything that's just in the way. I've already got this side panel off over here, mostly because I've got all sorts of wiring stuff going on here. But you also have a cover on this side. If you have that in, you're going to want to take that off, because eventually we're going to get this air box out under here too. Alright, so we want to just keep removing stuff that's in the way. In particular, this air intake is in our way, so we'll remove that. It's just a little angled hose, set that off to the side. So let's see if I can, maybe I can just remove this line here. There we go. Put that off to the side. One thing I can say is that there's a whole lot of cleaning that needs to be done here, so that is one of the first things I'm going to be focusing on once we get everything installed. Alright, so the next thing we're going to want to do is remove these coil packs. I'm just going to do the driver's side first, and then we'll switch over to the passenger side. So that just easily comes undone with a pair of pliers. And then back behind here, it's kind of hard to see, but there's another plug back here as well. You can pull that up out of the way. All these bolts here are 10 millimeters, so what you're going to do is just crack this 10 millimeter here. This is holding on this wiring harness. I believe this is probably the ground for it. Pull that up and then unplug this harness here as well. Hopefully this is a little bit better of a view. You want to be careful with these plugs. They're plastic and they can get brittle. There's actually this little hose bracket that's here. I don't know if you can see it. That's kind of in the way. Grab that. The great thing is everything in here is 10 millimeter. So if you're a 10 millimeter meme kind of guy, you should have some spare 10 millimeters lying around just so you don't lose them. Alrighty. So there it is. That just holds on a hose, and it really makes it hard to get that coil pack out. So just hit it with that 10 millimeter and get it out of the way. And then you should be able to now easily reach in with your hands and get that last coil pack. There you go. So you can kind of flip all those up out of the way. This will make things easier for getting this valve cover out of here. So the next step is to actually take out these coil packs. And so you'll want to hit those. Again, 10 millimeter. Makes this job very easy. So get each of those 10 millimeter bolts out, and then you can just take and pull out your coil pack. And it looks like so. Inspect these for any cracking. Cracking can occur on these. These actually look very good. I'm pretty impressed with that. So make sure you get that pulled up. And also, there should be a little gasket around here. Make sure you don't lose. Yep. There it is. So just make sure you put that gasket back with it, and clean up the gasket if needed. Take all 4 of these out and inspect them and replace any that you may need. So 10 millimeter again, which is awesome. So you got 4 across the top of 10 millimeter bolts. You can see them right there, and there's 1 on the front right here, and then another 4 across the bottom. So total of 9, 1 in the front, 4 up top, 4 down low on the bottom, and that's it. Once you get those bolts out, you can pull the valve cover up and out and start replacing that gasket. All right, so now with all of those bolts loose and removed, we should be able to break the valve cover up. Hey, look at that. Comes up pretty easily here. Just slide it up out of the way. All right, see, as you can see, this thing is dirty. And the first thing you want to do is go through and pull up that valve cover gasket. Ooh, it's freaking hard as a rock. That's just what happens after 200,000 miles of just heat cycling. You get this kind of form fitting. Oh, it's snapping and cracking. You can hear it. That is not keeping oil out anymore, so definitely need a replacement. I like to hit these with some brake parts cleaner and just clean everything in here good. Make sure you don't have any extra dirt or oil in here if you can get all that out. So I'm just gonna go through and clean all this crud out of here. There's just so much gunk down inside of here. Valve cover is looking pretty clean. The last thing you want to do is actually take out these gaskets that are in here. So these kind of have a tab you have to bend up. So you just kind of get a flat head up under there and pry on it until you can get those tabs up. Once you get them up, then I reach in there and kind of pull up on it from on the outer part of the ring, and it pops itself right out. All right, so next thing you want to do, once you got your valve cover all cleaned off, this thing cleaned up pretty dang good actually. If you really wanted to go the extra mile, you could paint it. I considered doing red or maybe black, but I think I'm just gonna keep it unpainted for now because that's just extra dry time and makes the job go that much longer. So this is the kit from Fel Pro, and you should see you get 1 gasket per side, a set of new grommets for each of your bolts. All right, so I think first you just want to try to figure out your gasket placement and start just feeding it down in. Like so. All right, so now that you have your gasket into place, you want to go through and put these seals in for your spark plug tubes. And these go in with the riveted side up. Just a little bit of motor oil on these will give it just a little bit better lubrication to get down into that hole there, because I'm having a little bit of issues getting them to seat. That's pretty good. All right, so there you have it. Those are nice and sealed. I could have went through and cleaned this up a little bit better. The outside, I feel like did a good job on getting that clean. Inside, not so much. I really didn't want to go overkill on this because, well, quite frankly, this is just a valve cover. So I didn't want to go way out of my way, spending a ton of time cleaning that off. But if you're really OCD and you want to clean all that up in there, go for that. Hit it with some extra brake cleaner and break some of that stuff loose. The outside looks good and clean. So at this point, I'd say we're ready to throw this into the engine. All right, and then lastly here, each one of these bolts has a new gasket for it. You want to go through and take these off and put a new one on each of the bolts. So these new washer grommet gasket pieces that come with the kit, they don't thread on, they just slide on. So just take that, slide it on each one of the bolts. Do that for all 9. All right, so next thing you want to do is, it's already pretty clean, but you do want to go around the edge and clean up the dirt around the gasket area where it's going to seat in, because you don't want to, when you slide the new gasket in, have dirt kind of interfering with the contact of that gasket. And it can easily happen when you go to slide that thing down in. You can smear it right across. So clean up that edge here. And then in the back, we have some camshaft seals that we're going to want to pull. There's 2 of them. There's one up top, one down below. And those are at the end of these camshafts here. I'm going to grab a pair of pliers and pull them out. We really just got to clean them up and throw some high temp RTV on those. All right, so I just reached down in with a pair of pliers and, all right, those pull up pretty easily here. Oh, if I can get this thing to focus. There we go. So just pull these out, and we're going to want to clean up around these edges and also clean up where we just pulled those out of down there. And just so that you're aware of how the RTV holds up, if you're thinking that you can get away with just not doing this, the RTV that's on here just kind of cracking and falling off. So it's hardened as well and not sealing, so you just want to pry all that stuff up out of there. All right, so for your camshaft seals that are in the back there, we have these all cleaned off. And you want to take your, this is the Permatex brand. I'll put the link in the description for this. This is the Max Temp gasket maker. So really what you want to do, and there's actually a couple of places you want to put this RTV. There's one little dollop that gets put up into this corner, and it's really kind of not that easy to see, but it's just a little dab here in the corner. And then for the seals, you just want to go through, put a nice little bead on there. I think at the end of the day, you just want to kind of smear it. Really, what you want to do is, there is such a thing as too much, so you want to kind of like just fill this. It's like a saddle. You just want to fill it with just enough to get a nice solid squeeze in there, but you don't want to go overboard and have a ton of it squeeze out, because that's overkill and you don't want that either. So just fill that saddle and then reach down in there and seat it into place. And the valve cover itself kind of helps level it out and keep it in the right position. So not too long after applying this, you want to get your valve cover on top there and torque down, because that kind of finishes seating everything into place properly. So just kind of throw your RTV in there. And go in and slide that into place. A little dollop on your finger and put it into this corner here. Not sure why it was required there, but I'm assuming there's a reason by the factory. All right, so while your RTV is not fully cured, you gotta get your valve cover into place. Might need to go in straight on. Kind of push things down to, there you go, you can hear it kind of suction itself down on over those spark plug tubes. Alrighty, so home stretch, just gotta throw in these last 9 bolts the way we took them out, and then torque them down to the proper torque spec. Alright, now that your valve cover is torqued down and into place, I'm gonna go through, put everything back together in reverse order. And so I'm going through and putting in all of these coil packs. All right, so now over here we got our harnesses. I'm gonna start plugging everything back into place where you can. Well, we had this bolt for this harness that went into place here. Start clicking all these harnesses back into place. Whew. I am just absolutely covered in sweat. It's like 100 degrees here in Florida. I think I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. We'll transition over here to the passenger side. This side should be a lot easier because access in here is great. I took the air box out and the air intake pipe that goes to the front of the engine here. Took all that stuff out. You can see in there very well. So we're gonna repeat the same thing on this side. I'm probably not gonna go into a ton of detail on this side, but I will let you know if anything's different. It should be the exact same thing, just swapped over here on this side. All right, there we have it. New valve cover gaskets. Everything's soaking right now because, as you could tell, the engine in the GX was just covered in dirt. So I got it soaking with some Purple Power. I'm gonna back this thing out into the driveway and tape off and bag off some of these areas and pressure wash and get a lot of this crud out of the way because I've been leaking oil down underneath here for quite some time. But that does it. There was no major difference here on the other side of the GX on the passenger side. If you follow the same steps you did on the driver's side, it's the same on the passenger side. It's actually a little bit easier to access over there, so really easy to do on that side of the vehicle. All right, so I'm just absolutely exhausted after this. I'm gonna go jump in the pool. So let me know down in the comment section below if there's anything that I missed, any details that you're curious about if you wanna go do this job yourself. Overall, this was a super easy job. Yes, it took me 4 hours to do this, but if you were to go to a dealership and have this done, it would be quite expensive. So for, I think, $65 and some $10 RTV, this was a super easy job to do that you can do at home if you follow this video. I hope a lot of you find some of these maintenance videos I've been doing helpful because with this economy, it's pretty awesome to have a paid off GX470 and to just maintain it because car prices are crazy. I know all of you are probably thinking GX550 would be awesome to have, but whew, 85,000 on some of those I'm seeing. So I personally love my GX470. I think I'm gonna keep it for quite some time. this whole economy thing is crazy, so the price of these has kind of gone through the roof. But if you do have one secured like me, maintenance it, it'll run a really long time. These vehicles are meant to last. So valve cover gasket is just one of those things you're gonna have to do on some of these higher mileage GXs. So hopefully this video helps you out and helps keep your GX470 running a long time and keeps it well maintained, because if you maintain these things, they're gonna last you quite a long time and gonna save you a ton of money in the long run if you do it yourself. All right, well that about does it for today's video. If you're interested in more GX470 content and you're not an Awesomoto subscriber, hit that subscribe button down below. If you want some more kind of day in the life kind of updates from the Awesomoto channel, head on over to Instagram at Awesomoto. Follow me over there. I post stories and detailed posts about when I'm doing maintenance, stuff like this. So it does kind of give you a little bit of a sneak peek of the next vlog that's coming out. Like, people are going to be seeing some stories on Instagram of this, so they're going to know that the next video is going to be a valve cover gasket. So if you're interested in that, head on over to Instagram, follow over there. And also, when the Molle panels are back in stock, should be about a week from now. When they're back in stock, I'll put a post on Instagram, a story, and I'll also post something up over here on the community tab of the Awesomoto page. Again, limited quantity on these, so the last batch sold out pretty fast. So if you do want to get your hands on these, I highly recommend keeping a close eye on the Instagram and the YouTube channel, just because they're gonna go fast when they come in stock. I'm extremely excited to see some of you sharing some feedback on them in your vehicle. It's so awesome to see some GX470s with the Awesomoto logo in them that isn't mine, so that's pretty cool. I'm very excited about that. So thank you again to everybody who was an early contributor to those Molle panels. All right, well, I'm gonna end things here. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.